You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move.
Good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Rankin, Mon Valley, Pittsburgh section of the National Council of Negro Women. My name is Delores Dupree, section president, and joining me today is Denine Hood, one of our charter members. We thank all of you who have participated in the past and watched, and we hope that you will join again today and others also. Today we have a special guest with us, and our topic today is the historical Fairview Park. You can call in at 412-231-2288, and the number appears on your screen. Our special guest is Alice Paylor-Dais, and Denine, will you please read her biography?
Sure, yes. Alice Paylor-Dais has been the president of the Steel Valley NAACP since 2009. She is also on the board of the Historical Fairview Park Association and is currently the financial secretary. Her other community and volunteer activities include the Enterprise Zone Corporation of Braddock, board member of Schumann Juvenile Detention Center, and an advisory board member of the Duquesne School District. Also, she's a member of the Greater Pittsburgh Business and Professional Women. Alice is the operator and owner of Dais Property Management and owner of OC's Closet. Alice received her bachelor's degree in social work from the University of Pittsburgh, attended graduate studies in organizational leadership at Robert Morris University, received a policy and ethics certificate from George Washington University, and is presently enrolled in the paralegal program at Community College of Allegheny County.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, welcome to the program, Alice.
Thank you.
And we have a special connection with you because you are a member of our section.
Yes.
Now, the main mandate that the National has for us to do today is it relates to the mandate that says sponsoring events such as the Black Family Reunion celebration to build on strengths and traditional values. Now, there was an event that occurred not this past Saturday, but August the 19th.
Yes.
Regarding Fairview Park.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, the event consisted of our annual picnic. We have an annual picnic in August every year to close the park down. And the special event that occurred that day is that we got our historical marker, because the park is a historical designation that we received from the state of Pennsylvania. We are the first and only African-American owned park in the state of Pennsylvania. So August the 19th, we had our marker unveiled, and also our annual picnic.
Okay, all right. Now, do you think the children of today understand why Fairview Park was created, and that it was created during the era of racial segregation, the Jim Crow era, and the cultural significance that it holds?
I don't think the young people today is that knowledgeable about it, because although racial discrimination still occurs today, but it's not as open today as it was in the 40s and the 50s. The park came about in 1945. A group of Sunday school superintendents got together, and because of the racial and the segregation that was going on at that time, we were not allowed to go to Kennywood. We couldn't swim in the pool in Highland Park. We couldn't go to Westview Park, so we really did not have a safe place for our children to go. So the 16 Sunday school superintendents got together, and they formed an organization called the Monongahela Sunday School Association. And they raised money and purchased Fairview Park, which at that time was a full-fledged park with a swimming pool, amusement rides, skating rinks, gas station, restaurant. And that provided a safe place for our children to go and enjoy themselves. So no, they don't realize the significance because, like I said, the racial segregation is not as open today as it was in 1945 or the early 40s.
Okay, when you say it wasn't as open, there were actually laws in effect, Jim Crow laws. Do you think the youth understand that and why parks such as Kennywood, Westview, and discriminated? Highland Park also, I understand,
yes,
discriminated against African Americans, and it was actually the law. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, it was just a known fact that you couldn't go. We could go to Highland Park, but we couldn't get in the pool with the white kids, and so that the kids today have not experienced that. And there's no signs saying blacks are not allowed.
Okay.
No color, it was allowed. The signs are not there, but the racial is still there. The racial discrimination is still there.
Like de facto discrimination, something like that.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
But now that it's designated as a Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission thing.
It's designated, we have the historical designation because we're the first and only African American owned park in the state of Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
So that's why, and because of the history of how the park came about.
Yeah, I can remember as a little girl, going there with our Sunday school, which we'll elaborate on.
And once the park was purchased, all the black churches in Pittsburgh, they had their church picnics there. Families have their family reunions there. And the churches paid dues. They were assessed a yearly dues, and that's the money that kept the park going. But like anything, as time went on and the desegregation was lessened a little bit, we started going to Kennywood and we stopped going to Fairview Park. So.
Okay.
So are there some legislations in the county or the city or something like that now that you're designated as a historical landmark? Are there funds that now can come to you because of that designation? Or
probably, yeah, because we do have our 501c3. And we will be seeking funds to restore the barn and to build the park back up.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Okay, I believe there were about 66 churches originally involved in purchasing the church.
69.
Oh, there were 69.
69, I think.
Oh,
it was
okay.
69.
And my understanding that it was the superintendents
The
of
Sunday
the Sunday
school
school.
Sunday school superintendents.
Okay, now are the churches still donating to the park?
We don't have as many, but yeah, there are still a few churches that still send in their assessment every year. And quite a few churches still have their church picnic out there.
Okay, but it's not that 69 originally?
No, no.
Okay.
And that's probably because the older people have died off. A lot of the young ministers that are in Pittsburgh now are not from Pittsburgh, so they don't know the history. So that's probably what
something
that is.
we'll have to work on. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Are any grants being rented for expanding the park?
Yeah, we'll be seeking grant money to develop the park and restore the barn. The barn is our historical piece, so we need to refurbish that piece.
Okay.
And we have a basketball court that needs some attention. We have a baseball field. We have 3 shelters, and we have playground equipment. It's old. It needs to be updated. We have a merry-go-round, swings, and that sort of thing.
Yes, because I was actually there for the dedication.
Oh,
It
okay.
brought back old memories. I can remember getting the ice cream that Isley's, they purchased from Isley's, and hot ice. They would have it on hot ice, and you would see the steam or the smoke coming up from it. That's what I remember about it.
Nice.
A lot of people remember, a lot of the older people remember going there as children
Yes.
every year. And because it was a safe place for our kids to go.
That's mature people. Okay.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Now, I know the park now depends on a lot of volunteer.
Yes. Yes.
And have the people in the association contacted like colleges? Maybe college students can possibly come and volunteer and get credit for it. Would
Well,
they
no,
be able to
we haven't looked into that, but a lot of the sororities come out and help. And also the Boy Scouts.
Oh, okay.
The Boy
That's
Scouts
good.
they've been a big help. And
I saw them out there at the designation.
yeah.
That's right, they were helping.
Yeah.
They were
What
in
do they do?
full
They do-
uniform and everything.
yeah, well, quite a few of the Boy Scouts, they've done projects in order to earn badges.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That sounds
And
good.
the Deltas help every year with the picnic.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
so the
okay.
sororities do come out and help.
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
But we haven't got to the place where if they do volunteer work that they get college credits.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
no.
Maybe that's something that might help more college students want to participate and
Yeah.
volunteer.
But we get the sororities help out, the Boy Scouts, and we also get guys from halfway houses because they have to do so many hours of community service. So we use them also.
Oh, okay. So they help maintain the grounds.
Right, right.
Nice.
Okay. Now, do any groups ever rent space in the park?
Oh, yes. Like I said earlier, a lot of families still have their family reunion. We had our family reunion out there one year. So there's quite a few families that have their family reunions out there. The churches still use it for their church picnics, and different organizations will rent it for picnics.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can go on our website if you want to rent the park. There's a space on the website where you can sign in and get
Okay.
information.
They go under Fairview Park
Under
Association.
Historical Fairview Park Association.com, yeah, or no, .org.
.org,
.org.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I know it's a 501c3, so anybody can rent. I'm just wondering if there are any white groups that do come and want to rent at
So
Fairview
far,
Park.
to my knowledge, there hasn't been.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. All right. And as far as you know, it's still the only black amusement park in the state?
Well, it is the only because we had to verify and do that and do the research in order to get the historic designation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Something.
Yeah,
You know?
and we went all the way back to 1945. We found a newspaper article where the park was being advertised for sale. Yeah, so we had to do a lot of research
Yeah.
to get
yeah.
information in order to get the historical designation. And because you have to prove that you're the only park, you have to prove it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how did the 100 acres that the Monongahela Valley Sunday School Association, and that was an organization of black Sunday school superintendents who pooled their money to buy the park, dwindled down to the 52 acres that now make up the park?
Well, what happened when they purchased the park, in order to pay the property taxes, they sold off lots in order to pay property taxes, in order to have money to maintain the park. So the lots were sold to church members, and that's part of the way the black community got built up out there in Delmont, because a lot of the members of the association bought the lots and built homes out there.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Now, most of the lots were sold to African American
Yes.
families.
Yes.
Because at that time, a lot of the African Americans, it was hard for them to get money to buy
Right,
homes.
because during that time, in the late 40s and probably early 50s too, banks were not giving loans to African Americans to purchase homes or to build homes. So they bought the lots from the park, and a lot of families, they built the homes themselves.
Really? Are they, or as far as you know, is there still a large population of the African American community in that
Yes.
area? That's good. And do they frequent the area of the park?
Oh, yes.
Good. But they do have to purchase permits to go. I mean, you have to pay to use the park, right?
Yes,
And those
yes.
who live around there, can they just come over, or they have to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, so you're
And
saying...
we have two or three of the families in that area, they were on the board. And we still have, like, I think one person that's still on the board. Yeah.
Good.
So we have 52 acres now, I think it is.
Okay. Which is still a large amount of
It
land.
is, it is. Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, what are some of the plans, if any, for the 52 acres that the Fairview Park now consists of? Will it ever go back to having a swimming pool, skating, amusement rides, and things like that?
We would love to develop it back into a park. Right now, our goal, since we have the designation, our goal is to restore the barn because that's our historical piece, and the barn is over 100 years old.
Okay.
So we want to restore the barn. We would like to do something with the basketball court, develop the baseball field, and I would love to get new equipment for the kids.
Yes.
New playground equipment. We need that, and more shelters for people to use. Yeah. And the long-range goal for the park, initially when I became a member, the long-range goal was to build a conference center for churches to use when they have their church conferences.
Okay, that's a good idea. 52 acres, you can do so much.
You can. Yeah. So we have some long-range goals and short-range goals for the park. Yeah.
I read somewhere where there were hot air balloons. They were given those as rides too.
I'm not familiar with that. They probably did that when they first got the park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But as far as you know, neither one of you have ever ridden one, huh?
No.
Neither have I.
I'm not sure I would do that anyways.
Neither am I. Neither am I. But it sounds like something that would be fun. So
But
they
when
did a
we
lot
have
of
our
unique
picnic-
things.
When we have our yearly picnic, we have pony rides. We rent the bouncy houses. We have those. We have go-karts, and so we do go-kart races. And it's an old-fashioned picnic, so we have old-fashioned games. We have sack races with the kids. And so we do rent stuff to bring to the park the day of the picnic for the kids.
And I watched that. Those kids really enjoyed that, because usually you're seeing the kids on their electronic equipment. And Chris Moore, he's so good with the kids. They had the wooden go-karts and stuff, and they ran those and raced those several times, the sack races and everything, And I actually saw children doing physical activity and enjoying themselves. It was wonderful to see that, And there was a lot of other things going on, character, hula hoop contest. By the way, I won the senior hula hoop contest for the seniors.
No, you did.
And the hula hoop went around, and
All right.
Chris Moore said she won. I was one of the few seniors out there to have the nerve to do it.
And we also have a bake-off contest. People donate pies and cakes, and we have a contest, so they'll win a prize for that. We have bingo, and we have people in stores that donate prizes for the bingo games, so we do bingo.
They did portraits, get characters of people and stuff out there.
Oh, we have a watermelon eating contest.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, we have a watermelon eating contest.
Face painting, I saw
Yes.
that. There was a lot going on, so much for
And
the kids to do.
the petting zoo, and then we have a pony for the kids to ride.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of animals. They actually had miniature ponies, looked like little toys almost, for a toddler could fit on there.
Yeah.
And this affair takes place every year.
Every year, we always have it. It's usually the second or third Saturday in August, and because we shut the park down in September, so that's the final event at the end of, and it's free for everybody.
It's free, so it's not
free
even a
to the
fundraiser,
public.
it's just free.
No, it's not a fundraiser, it's free. So that's the big event that we have at the end of the year to shut the park down for the winter.
Wow, nice.
I think we have a call.
Caller, can you say your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, I'm calling from the north side. My name is Mark.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good.
I have to first thank Delores, because every time you have your show, it is just so informative to sit and listen to you all. I've heard so much about the park.
Oh, thank
But
you.
I'm learning so much about the details, and so I just want to say thank you. I remember another show you had, Delores, when you talked about the history of Dorothy Height, and I learned so much about that.
Yeah,
And
that's...
so what I need to do, I'm going to see you a little later and make sure I become a member. I need to be a part.
Thank you, because we
Oh,
do
good.
have male members, so thank you very much. Even though it's called the
Well,
National... Oh, I was going to say, even though it's called the National Council of Negro Women, we have men who are associate members, so we need your help, and we appreciate it.
Definitely. Mark, what did you say your last name was again?
Yes, Mark Brentley.
Brentley,
Oh, I
thank
know
you.
Mark. Mark, I know you.
Our guest says she knows you.
Yes.
Well,
we all know you.
Looking at both of you, you both look familiar. Delores and I go way back. So,
Okay.
But I have a quick question. Can you talk about, and I may have glossed over or didn't get the details, but can you talk about it again, the role of people watching? What can we do? Man, this is so historic. We should all buy a share of stock in it if it was possible. But can you talk about, number one, the history of it, and number two, what can we do? Those of us who believe in the mission and just, before we pass on this great earth, want to boast about being a part of something that was historically owned by African Americans. And then number three, you mentioned about the surrounding community. Some of the way I pick it up, the surrounding community, and that is housing that area. I got on the website and I couldn't see much about that part of it, and so maybe if you can take a moment to talk about, are there surrounding homes where people can buy and maybe use them as summer homes and then be close to the park, or what can you talk about the surrounding community? I'll hang up and listen, and thank you so much, professors, because you are all teaching this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your call. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, I think first I'd like to go back to the historical piece, the history of the park, and how it came about. In the 40s, up into the early 50s, African Americans they had nowhere to go. There was no amusement parks that we could go to, or our children could go to and have a good time. And particularly the swimming. We were not allowed. I vividly remember not being allowed to get into the pool in Highland Park, and we would go and stand and watch the white kids swim. We couldn't go into the pool in Kennywood. At one time, we weren't allowed in Kennywood. When they did allow us to come to Kennywood, we could go and ride the rides, but we still couldn't get in the pool. Fairview Park was not accessible to us. So the Sunday school superintendents had the wherewithal and the determination to pool their money and purchase Fairview Park so that our children could have a safe place to go and run and roam and make as much noise as you want to, and nobody hollering at them and telling them to be quiet and sit down and shut up.
Okay. Now you said it wasn't accessible. So were the rides, amusement rides, the skating room and swimming pool, all that was there? It wasn't developed?
It was a full-fledged amusement park when they purchased it.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they developed it.
It was a full-fledged park. It had a gas station, a restaurant, the skating rink. It had roller coasters. It was a full-fledged amusement park when they purchased it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to address this other question about the housing?
Well, the housing, when the park was first purchased, it was called Salem Township. At some point, and I haven't been able to pinpoint it, but at some point, Delmont was developed. So Delmont is in Salem Township. So the black community that's around the park, that came about when they were selling the lots off to have money to pay the property taxes and to maintain the park.
Okay.
And they were sold to African Americans.
Okay.
And that's how that little small black community that's right there by the park came about.
And it's still mainly African American from what you're saying?
And there was even a church, because a group, once the black community was developed, they built a church. They bought property from the park and built a church. So there was a church there. All the church members have died off. The children of those families are not there. They're gone. They've moved away. And there was one member, church member left, and he signed the church back over to the park. So now we have a church.
Oh, okay, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Okay, so, I was thinking about his question about buying property. If the children have left, has that property turned over to non-African Americans?
There are some there, but there's still quite a few of the African American families that are there. Okay. They're older. Yeah.
And you already addressed the part what the viewing audience can do?
Well, what the viewing audience can do is, when we have our picnic, go to our website, make a donation, come and become a part of the board, join the board. We meet the fourth Saturday of every month.
Okay.
And all that information is on our website.
And Mark was saying about donating, and I know you mentioned to me they can purchase park benches and put a designation, right?
Yes, a lot of people have purchased picnic benches and had their tables in memory of maybe their mother or their grandmother, and we'll get a plate and put your name on it. And the benches are $125.
Okay. And from what he's saying, I think if more people... Oh, okay. I'm sorry. If more people get involved, then maybe you can think about other things too.
Right, right. And we also have a concession stand that we sell food when we have a picnic. We sell food.
Yeah, I had some of that catfish. It was delicious.
Wasn't it good?
It was delicious. I noticed some of the churches were packing their own baskets and grilling and things. It was like an old-fashioned family picnic.
And that's what it is.
And if you wanted to go over to the concession stand, because plenty of them offered me things, but I went over to the concession stand because I wanted that catfish. And it was well worth it.
Some people come to the picnic and they don't bring any food and they just go table to table. Because people bring they pack their baskets, and then we have the concession stand, so, yeah.
Now, do you remember what year most of the rides, the merry-go-round, swimming pool things left like that?
Probably, the park was purchased in '45. I would imagine like in the early '50s when the rest of the parks opened their doors to African Americans, and we started supporting Kennywood and Westview Park, and it just sort of just died off.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what happens to a lot of our businesses. You know, sometimes when they find that they can go to Walmart, they'll go there.
Right.
But we have a call on. Caller, can you say your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, this is James from East Liberty.
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I just wanted to make a comment, because I've been to Fairview Park many, many times.
Good.
And just a few things. The last time I was out there, you know, I like basketball, and a lot of my friends like to play basketball. But the basketball court was not up to par.
Right.
Now, and that kind of turned some of the young people off who were there. So my suggestion is that court could be renovated. That would help immensely. And then we used to play baseball on the baseball field. It's a large baseball field that just needs to be improved. And what we used to do, we used to have a park with another church, and we'd always play a game against each other. The games were really competitive, but a lot of fun. So I would just suggest any other church who wants to go out there, do it in conjunction with another church, and make it a joyful event. And the other thing, besides the basketball court, if it was a tennis court, that would be nice. And like I said, improving the baseball field. And just one more thing, because I remember South Park. One thing they had was an area, a barn they used to call it, and it was an area for dancing.
Yes.
Now, I know a lot of churches don't like to do that, but if you want to keep young people, give them something to do when they go out to Fairview Park. And an area where they could dance and just have fun, that would really improve the park.
Definitely. I agree with you. It was so funny, we were just talking about upgrading the basketball court.
Yeah, that is on our agenda, that we will be upgrading the basketball court and the baseball field.
Yeah, and just one more thing. I know numerous times when I went out there, I always heard that people were trying to buy that property.
Yes.
Because they wanted to build housing.
Yes.
In that area. So I certainly hope that we can hold on to that property. And I want to know what your website address is, because I'd like to make a contribution.
Okay, it's historicfairviewpark.org. And there's a section where it says donate, and you click on that and make your donation.
Okay, and just one comment I wanted to make. Some of the people who used to live out there used to attend the church that I attended. And like you said, most of them have died off. But they all seem to be proud people.
Yes.
And they were really proud of that park.
Yes.
So I really hope that we can hold on to that park.
Oh, we're going to hold on to it.
Yes. And if articles could be written in the Courier to let people know about this park, that would help.
Okay.
And advertisements given to churches. So many churches don't even know about that park.
Yeah.
You're
It
right.
has a lot of potential.
It does. It does. And we're working on all of those things.
Okay, and just one more comment, because I remember when the rides were out there.
Do you?
It was just like Kennywood.
Yes, it was.
And we couldn't go to Kennywood, certain areas in Kennywood.
That's
And
right.
in Kennywood, when they closed that swimming pool, they didn't close, they closed it, they integrated it, and about the next month or so, they closed the pool down. Because they didn't want us to swim in the swimming pool.
Yes, yes.
You're right. So you probably skated in the barn at Fairview Park also, right, James?
That was a little bit before me. But
Oh,
I remember
okay.
the rides.
Okay.
They had rides like Kennywood.
They
Okay.
did, yes,
Yes,
yes.
they did.
Okay.
But I wasn't in the skating, so maybe I didn't even realize they had a skating.
Yes. And the dancing. Okay. They said they had a barn similar to South Park.
Yes, yes.
And the barn is still there, which is
barn is
something
still
Alice
there.
said
Yeah,
she's
that's our historic piece, because that's the only building left from the original park. And we are going to restore the barn and hold on to that, because that's our historic piece.
Yeah. And before I hang up, one complaint I always heard when we used to go to Fairview,
What?
people said they needed better directions. I know they have a few signs indicating how to get to the park, but if they could be updated or improved just a little bit, it would make it easier to find Fairview Park.
That's true, that's true. And that's on our plate too.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm not familiar, that good navigationally, but those smartphones, it took me right to it. Even though it looked like it was going like a little rickety road, I said, is this right? Told me to turn right, and we were right there. So it took me exactly to it.
Yeah.
No detours or anything.
Well, thank you so much for your call, and thank you for patronizing the park. Sounds like you know a lot about it.
Yes.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now, talking
That
about the
was-
renovations and what you're planning and all, there was a rumor that they were going to try and build a museum on that park. Have you heard that rumor?
Well, you know what, probably once we get the barn renovated, there are some artifacts left over from the old park that we probably will have in the barn.
Oh, okay.
I know there's quite a few people that have items from the park from years ago when they used to have, because they used to do a, what was it called? They had the King and Queen contest or something.
Oh,
yeah.
was that there?
Yeah, Fairview. Yeah, I remember. That was
Right.
like a fundraiser. But
Right. Because
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I know quite a few people who have dishes and different things that they won at Fairview Park years ago.
Okay.
So probably when we get the barn renovated, all those artifacts can be collected and stored in the barn.
Oh,
Yeah.
no skating. Okay.
yeah, we need another skating rink, that's for sure.
You know what, though? We can't quote any figures, but are individual memberships and memberships for churches and other organizations still available?
Yes.
They
And
are.
that's on our website also.
Okay. All right.
How to
Good.
become a member, it's on the website. Yes,
Okay.
yes. And we do have several churches that belong to the park when it first originated. Some of those churches still pay their yearly assessment fee.
Okay. And
Yeah.
I bet you that's my church I grew up in.
Which church is that?
We were Bethel and
Yes.
Willoway, now they're Unity.
Yeah, Unity. Yes, Unity sends in their assessment every year.
Okay.
Yes.
So the park, Fairview Park, it's like an illustration of the African American response to racism
To
and
racism,
discrimination.
yes.
And is there anything in the plans to try and make that like better known to the community so that they can just see, what Fairview Park stands for and what it was and why it was created and all that?
Well, the only thing Probably doing fundraisers, and I think at one point we've talked about doing a newsletter. And we do send notices to the churches, and we probably can do a better job of advertising. Because all the board members, we're all volunteers.
Okay.
So we probably could do, we could always do a better job of advertising and getting the word out. Yeah. But the park is available for families or organizations to rent for picnics. And all that information is on our website.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So we're becoming better known, doing things like this show, and we're getting the word out the best we can.
And are the events that you have every year, are they getting bigger and bigger?
Oh yes,
Oh, good.
yes.
Okay. And I think if we start developing, like what the gentleman James said, make it like a park, a mini park with the playground area.
Right.
Get that equipment, especially the kids. They love the basketball because they were doing that too a couple of weeks ago. You know? So we need to get that upgraded. But you know, on a little different note, and we're thinking of the current events that are going on, and we're speaking of this Fairview as a historic landmark. What are your thoughts on the controversy these days over taking down racist monuments? Most of them were erected after the Jim Crow laws were abolished, more or less to intimidate minorities.
And they need to be taken down, you know, because of the reason that they were established was to be a form of intimidation and to keep us so-called in our place and remind us. So yeah, they need to be taken down because they don't serve a purpose. There's no use for them. So they it needs to be removed.
There's one in Pittsburgh now that a lot of people are talking about, the Stephen Foster, because it has the picture of, it has him, and then it has the slave at his feet, you know, playing. And more than likely, he's the one that.
So what's the message that's given to young kids? That see that. You know, there's a message there that you're sending to young kids.
And more than likely, the slave is the one that created all the songs that he's getting all the money for, you know?
So what's the message, what is that message saying to the little white kids and to the little black kids?
Right.
So yeah, those I think those things need to come down.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, I really wasn't aware of that until I noticed a friend of mine posted she used to do events, and she wouldn't do events at the Stephen Foster Hall because of that.
There's a poem. They need to come down. And
Okay, caller, will you say your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, this is Mark from the Delores.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Good. I just had a couple of questions about Fairview Park.
Okay.
One, I wanted to know, is it available to rent out?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And is it pretty busy? Because one of the things I wanted to do was run a basketball tournament or some kind of tournament. Is it available for that?
I would think so, but our basketball court, we do need to update it. It does need some work.
So that's something we need to work on next.
Okay, now I told you late. Can you tell me how someone could get involved? Because I think it's just, it's a tremendous historical place that we need to keep that going. How can someone help you all, get the, make the basketball court better and just improve the facilities?
Okay, if you
do?
go on our website, there's information there to tell you how to become a member, because you can become a member of the park.
Okay.
And some of our members, we have a trustee board and the trustee board takes care of the grounds. They take care of the park. So you can go to our website.
Okay, now, I missed it earlier. Can you tell me some events that you may have coming up? Now I'm going to hang up and listen.
Okay, thank you for your call. You're the second Mark today.
And we don't have any events coming up right now. We had our last event for the year on the 19th of August. And in September, we shut the park down for the year. So we don't have any events coming up. On August the 19th, we had our dedication because we got our historical marker in place. So that was the last. Go ahead. So that was the last event for the year.
Okay, and how soon would I have to get in touch with you all to get on the calendar for the following year?
Well, we still meet during the year. We just don't have any activities at the park, but we meet every month.
Okay.
We meet every month. So go to the website. It's historicalfairviewpark.org. And
Great. All right, thanks again for your hard work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your call.
And we'll be
Thank
looking
you.
forward to hearing from you.
Okay, okay, thank you. Now, we do have some pictures that we'd
Yes.
like you to talk about. Can we
Okay.
show some of the pictures that represent Fairview Park?
I think the pictures that he has is from the when we had the marker dedication.
Oh, okay,
And,
okay.
And I think one of the pictures is from, okay, now that's from one of our annual picnics. And the person there, he's doing the character drawing for the kids, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's one. And that's the year we had our picnic and we had line dance and we had Roland Ford.
Oh, okay.
And we were
okay.
doing the line dancing, I think.
I
Yeah.
did line dancing too a couple
Did you?
weeks ago.
Did you? Yeah, yeah. So that's
Now,
one
those
of our
T-shirts, were they
picnics.
from Fairview Park, or was that?
No, I
Oh.
don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Now that's one of the bouncy. We rent equipment for the kids. That's one of the bouncy houses that we rent for the kids. And we do that every year. And that's just a picture of the park. That's the barn in the background. That's our historical piece that we'll be renovating.
So what's in the barn now? I mean, it's
Nothing.
nothing?
No,
oh.
we store picnic tables in there.
Oh,
We store
I see.
equipment
Okay.
in it. Mhm.
Okay.
And in the bottom of the park is where the tractor is.
Oh,
Equipment,
for taking
yeah.
care of the, okay. I see
And that's
a lot
one of the
trees.
shelters. We have 3 shelters. Yeah, that's one of the shelters, and that's a barbecue pit.
Is that a working barbecue pit?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
People use it, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw them out there a couple weeks ago, but they had their big grills. So.
Yeah, some people bring their own grills, but they'll use that barbecue pit too. That's the barn again. You see it close up. And that's our marker that was installed
Okay.
and unveiled on August the 19th.
Okay. Could you mind? I was going to try to read it.
Yeah, that's the dedication.
Okay.
Do you want to, can we go back to the marker so that we can read what it says on there? Okay.
Okay, it says, due to racial segregation into the mid-20th century, African Americans were excluded from many amusement parks and recreational facilities. Local Sunday school superintendents formed the Monongahela Valley Sunday School Association, and in 1945, that gives us the specific date, purchased land here to create a park open to all blacks. It was the first and only black-owned amusement park in PA and has been listed in the National Register of Historic Places since 2011. Okay, and then I learned something today. I did not know that the amusement rides and everything were there. I thought they developed everything.
Oh
I
no,
did
it was a full-fledged park. That's taken under the marker, and the person in the middle is our president. Ernest is on the left. He's our past president, and that's Chris Moore on the right. That's all those are the board members.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, thank
So
you.
that was a really memorial event for us because we worked hard. We got the designation in 2011, and then we got the sign this year.
Oh, it took a while, huh?
Yeah, but we had to do a lot of research to get there. I mean, we had to prove to them that we were the only black-owned park in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. So it
I
it
was
a
wondering,
lot
you
of
know,
work.
yeah, I bet it was. The Universal Circus.
Oh, that would
That's
be perfect.
I wonder, would that facilitate that, or is it not?
It would
I
be
would
perfect.
think,
I just
yes,
went to
50 over 50 acres.
I just went to Universal Circus in Virginia. It was in Norfolk, a military mall that was closed down. They bring their own tents, bleachers, everything put
do
together.
they?
It was amazing. It was one of the best circuses I've ever been to. They had international troops and stuff there from like maybe 5 different countries, from Africa down in South America, people of color, Spanish-speaking people, African people, our people, you know, and they just did
Was
everything.
this recent?
Yes, I went, it was August 5th. It was one of my best friends and my son-in-law's birthday, and we went there and we went out to dinner afterwards. But it was just amazing, the things they did, the contortions. I just can't believe the acrobatics, you know, motorcycles, and you're so close there. You can see everything, you can feel it. It was beautiful, and I'm just thinking Fairview Park is the perfect location, because they haven't had one here in Pittsburgh for
I
a
know,
while.
that's what I was saying. They used to have them in Pittsburgh, and they
That's
don't
something
anymore.
that
And
we
since
could
they
look
bring
into.
everything, their concession stands, everything they set up, they brought everything.
Okay.
I don't know if they brought it, but they contracted and everything was there. The
That's
elephant
something to-
rides, camel rides. My grandson rode a camel.
Really? Was he scared?
No, he was anxious. No.
Well, that's something that we can look into. That would be great, yeah. Because we do want to build the park back up so that the community can use the park, and not just the African American community, but so that it can be used and enjoyed by all. So, but we would love to, and that's our goal.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
Yeah.
And the
especially-
kids, when we have our annual picnic, it's free. All you got to do is show up. Yeah, everything is free.
And no kid went hungry or thirsty, because
No.
the people there, you want something to drink, honey? You want something to eat, honey? That's the way it should be, you know?
And how were you able to do all that free? Did you get donations or
Yeah, we
grants?
get donations.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like the prizes that we get for the different contests, like the watermelon contest, the bingo. Those prizes are donated by different stores. Yeah, and the board members donate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the food, it seemed like there was like church groups that had pavilions.
Yeah,
And
and
I
they
think
bring
they
food.
had food and things there. Like I said, they were willing to share.
Yeah.
Those kids didn't have to worry about
Oh,
being
yeah,
hungry.
yeah,
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. So, and I think everybody has a good time at our picnic, because we keep them moving all day. Yeah, yeah.
Well, we thank you so much for coming on to talk about Fairview Park. Was there anything else you needed to talk about, or is there?
Well, no, but hopefully next year, when we have our annual picnic, I can come back and talk about that and bring the public up to date on the renovations and where we at. And
And maybe before the annual picnic
before
and
the
get more
annual
participation.
picnic, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And it usually happens in August?
It's always
Okay.
it's always in August, because that's when we shut the park down in September for the year.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sounds good. Sounds good. And we hope to bring more programs to you about the things that are happening in the community and the things that can benefit you. So if you have any questions, or if you have any comments, or you want to see anything more on the show, you can call that 412-953-9583 that's on your screen. That's 412-953-9583. And thank you so much for calling and watching, and we hope to see you next time.